Act 1 of Alexander the Great by Jean Racine. Translated by Robert Bruce Boswell. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Introduction to Alexander the Great. The story of this drama is derived from Quintus Curtius, Plutarch, and Justin. The real hero is Porus rather than Alexander, and when it was first acted in 1665, mention is made of it under the former title. Racine himself writes thus: I have endeavored to represent in Porus an enemy worthy of Alexander, and I may say that his character has met with a high degree of public favor, and some have even censured me for making this prince greater than Alexander. But such persons forget that in virtue of his victory Alexander is really greater than Porus, that every line of the tragedy reflects his praises, and that even the invectives of Porus and Axiana are so many tributes to the conqueror's valor. There is perhaps in Porus something that interests us more from the very circumstance of his misfortunes, for, as Seneca has remarked, we are naturally disposed to admire nothing in the world so much as a man who can bear adversity with courage. Characters.
Alexander, read by Ron Altman.
Porus, Indian King, read by Todd.
Taxiles, Indian King, read by Ethan Hurst.
Axiana, Queen of another part of India, read by Matea Bracic.
Cleophila, sister of Taxiles, read by Avai.
Hephaestion, read by Chris Pyle.
Stage directions, read by Sonia. The scene is laid on the banks of the Hydaspes, in the camp of Taxiles. Alexander the Great, a tragedy. Act 1, Scene 1. Taxiles, Cleophila.
What? Go you to resist a king whose might seems to force heaven itself to take his side, before whose feet have fallen all the kings of Asia, who holds fortune at his beck? Open your eyes, my brother, and behold in Alexander one who casts down thrones, binds kings in chains, and makes whole nations slaves, and all the ills they have incurred prevent.
Would you that, stricken with so mean a fear, I bow my head to meet his threatening yoke, and hear it said by every Indian tribe, I forge the fetters for myself and them? Shall I leave Porus, and betray those chiefs met to defend the freedom of our realms, who without hesitation have declared their brave resolve to live or die like kings? See you a single one of them so cowed at Alexander's name that he forgets to fight, and begs to be enrolled his slave, as of the acknowledged master of the world? So far from being daunted at his fame, they will attack him e'en in victory's lap. And would you, sister, have me crave his help, whom I today am ready to withstand?
Nay, is it not to you this prince appeals, sues for your friendship, and for yours alone, and, ready to discharge his lightning flash, makes secret efforts to protect your head?
Why should he spare his wrath for me alone? Of all Hydaspes' arms against him, how have I deserved a pity that insults? Why not to Porus make these overtures? Doubtless he deems him too magnanimous to heed an offer that is fraught with shame, and seeking virtue of less stubborn mould, thinks me, forsooth, more worthy of his care.
Say not he thinks to find in you a slave, but deems you bravest of his enemies, and hopes that, may he but disarm your hand, his triumph o'er the rest will be secured. His choice does no discredit to your name. He offers friendship cowards may not share. Though he would fain see all the world submit to him, he wants no slave among his friends. Ah, if his friendship can your glory soil, you spared me not a stain of deeper dye. You know his daily services to me. Why did you ne'er attempt to check their course? You see me now the mistress of his heart. 100 secret missives make me sure of his devotion, and to reach me come his ardent sighs across 2 hostile camps. Instead of urging hatred and disdain, you oft have blamed me for severity. You led me on to listen to his suit, aye, and perchance to love him in my turn.
You have no need to blush. The charms so rare have forced that mighty warrior to succumb. Nor should it cause alarm that he whose power has dried Euphrates can disarm your heart. But with my destiny, our country's fate is linked, and it must follow as I lead. And though you fain would turn me from the task, I must be free to guard her liberties. I know how this my purpose gives you pain, but I, like you, follow the star of love. Fair Axiana's danger-darting eyes against your Alexander aim their shafts. Queen of all hearts, she bids her subjects arm for freedom, which her charms alone must bind. She hears with shame threats of captivity, nor brooks another tyrant than herself. Her wrath, my sister, must command my sword, and I must go.
Ah, well, destroy yourself to please her. What though fatal the decree, obey so dear a despot if you will, or rather let your rival reap your bays. Go fight for Porus, Axiana calls, secure for him the empire of her heart, for your best valour will not make her bend.
Thank you that Porus, sister.
Can you doubt yourself that Axiana loves him? What? Can you not see how eager is her praise as she parades his deeds before your eyes? Though others may be brave, round him alone, believe me, victory's pinions seem to wave. Without his sanction, vain your wisest plans. Only with him rests India's liberty. Had he not interposed, our walls ere now had sunk in ashes. He alone can stop the conqueror's march. This charming prince she makes her god, and though you doubt it, fain would make her lover.
I have tried to doubt it. Be not so cruel as to blast all hope, nor paint a picture that I hate to see. Nay, help me rather to be blind, confirm my pleasing error. Pride befits the fair. Tell me she treats all others e'en as me, and save me from despair.
With my consent, hope still, but nothing more expect from sighs too weak to move her. Why in battle seek a conquest Alexander offers you himself? 'Tis not with him you have to cope, but Porus, who would wrest a prize so fair. Fame, too unjust to others' merit, vaunts his exploits, none but his, forgets the rest. Whate'er is done, he the sole credit claims, and leads you like his subjects to the field. Ah, if that title has a pleasing sound, why not with Greeks and Persians range yourself beneath a worthier lord? 100 kings will share your bonds. Porus himself will come, yes, the whole world. But Alexander keeps no chains for you. He leaves upon your brow the crown a haughty rival dares disdain. 'Tis Porus, and not he, makes you a slave. Be not his victim when 'tis in your power. But look, here comes your generous rival.
Ah, my sister, how my heart beats in alarm, and tells me as I look that he is loved.
Time presses. Fare you well. With you it lies to be his slave, or Alexander's friend.
Scene 2. Porus, Taxilus.
Sir, I am much deceived, or our proud foes will make less progress than they reckoned on. Impatient of delay, our gallant troops show resolution stamped upon their brows, strengthen each other's hearts, and none too young to promise himself victorious bays. From rank to rank the martial ardour spreads, and eager cries have burst upon mine ears, complaining that they cannot prove their zeal, but waste their vigour in an idle camp. Shall we allow such courage to be lost? Our wily foe knows where advantage lies. Feeling himself still weak to hold us back, he sends Hephaestion hither, who demands a parley, that by idle words—
'Tis fit to hear him, sir. We know not yet what terms are offered. Alexander may wish peace.
Peace? Would you then accept it at his hands? Have we not seen him with repeated blows disturb the happy calm we erst enjoyed, and sword in hand enter these realms of ours, attacking kings who ne'er offended him? Have we not seen him laying countries waste, our rivers swollen with our subjects' blood? Yet, when the gods have placed him in our power, am I to wait until the tyrant deigns to pardon?
Say not heaven forsakes his cause. With constant care it still defends his head. A monarch at whose nod so many states tremble is not a foe for kings to scorn.
I scorn him not. His courage I admire, and to his prowess render due respect. But I, too, am ambitious to deserve the tribute which his merits force from me. Let Alexander be upraised to heaven, yet will I pluck him thence, if so I may. The altars which men's trembling hands have reared to this terrestrial god will I attack. E'en thus did Alexander treat those kings whose provinces now own his greater sway. If, when he entered Asia, he had quailed, Darius would not with his parting breath have hailed him king.
Sir, had Darius known how weak he was, he would be reigning now where reigns another. But his fatal pride was better founded than your present scorn. The fame of Alexander had not yet burst like the lightning from behind the clouds. Darius ne'er had heard his name before, and calmly dreamed of easy victory. He knew him soon, and all amazed beheld his countless hosts scattered like chaff, himself crushed to the earth by a victorious arm. The lightning, as it fell, unsealed his eyes.
What price, too, think you, shall one have to pay for swallowing this bait of shameful peace? 100 different tribes can tell you, sir, how, grossly cheated, peace for them meant chains. Be not deceived, his smiles are treacherous. His proffered friendship leads to slavery for ever. No half service will avail. Submit to bondage, or remain his foe.
To turn from rashness is not cowardice. A harmless homage may be all he claims. With flattering words soothe this ambitious prince, till lust of conquest summon him elsewhere. For like a mountain torrent he sweeps by, and overwhelms all that arrest his course. Gorged with the wrecks of many multitudes, the roar of mighty waters fills the world. What boots it to let surely pride provoke his wrath? With favorable welcome hail his march, and waive those rights we may resume hereafter, nor refuse what cost us naught.
What costs us not? Dare you believe it, sir? And shall I count as nothing honour lost? The coward's brand is far too dear a price at which we may redeem our diadems. But think you that a prince so bold and proud can pass this way and leave no trace behind? How many monarchs, wrecked upon this reef, retain their titles but to please his pride? Should we once crouch, his vassals, we should find our crowns no more sit firmly on our heads. Should we displease him, from our nerveless hands would drop our sceptres at his slightest breath. Say not, he marches on from land to land, and leaves them as they were. The knots he ties bind princes fast, and oft times in the dust he seeks fit instruments to govern slaves. But such mean cares touch not my firm resolve. Your interest alone inspires my words. Porus declines to treat of terms of peace, when glory speaks no other voice he hears.
I hear what honor bids as well as you. To save my country is what she commands.
Save her, and honor too. This day forestall the invader. Let us march to meet his arms.
Contempt and rashness are unfaithful guides.
Shame follows hard upon a timid soul.
Kings who can save their subjects earn their love.
But honored more when they know how to reign.
Such counsel finds response from pride alone.
Yet kings will heed it, aye, and queens perchance.
The queen has eyes, it seems, for none but you.
A slave she marks with anger and contempt.
But think you, sir, 'tis love that would expose her people and herself along with you? Nay, tell yourself the naked truth. Confess your guiding light is hatred, and not love.
I readily will own that righteous wrath makes me love war as much as you love peace. That burning with a noble fire I go to measure swords against Alexander's pride. The praises of his valour vex my soul, which long has panted for this happy day. Ere he was on my track my spirit rose, resentful, and in secret hated him. With keen impatience and fierce jealousy I thought his near approach too long delayed, and drew him hither with such warm desires as made me wish myself on Persian soil to meet him sooner. Should he balk me now, and seek to leave these regions, then would I dispute in arms his passage, and refuse the peace he condescends to offer us.
So high a spirit and so firm a heart augur a glorious place in history's page. And should you sink beneath the bold attempt, your fall at least will throw the world resound. Farewell. The queen draws near. Display that zeal, that pride which makes your merit in her eyes. My presence would disturb your interview, and my faint-hearted prudence raise a blush.
Scene 3. Porus, Axiana.
What? Taxiles avoids me? Why is this?
Ah, he does well to hide from you his shame. No longer daring to encounter risk, how could he bear to look you in the face? But let us leave him, madam, to his choice. He and his sister go to pay their vows to Alexander. Let us leave a camp where Taxiles, with incense in his hand, awaits his sovereign.
But what says he, sir?
Betrays too much. Already does this slave boast of the bondage he would have me share.
Be not so passionate, and let me try to stop him. Though discouraged, his warm sighs assure me of his love. Howe'er that be, let me try speech with him again, nor force that purpose into action by your scorn, which hardly can be fixed.
What? Doubt you that? And will you trust a faithless lover's heart, who to a tyrant means, this very day, to give you up, thinking thereby to win your hand from him? Well, if you will, assist your own betrayal. He may seize the prize I deemed my own, but still it shall be mine to fight and die for you. This glory mocks his jealous efforts.
Think you then my love shall be the meed of insolence so base, and that my heart, submitting to his sway, could e'er consent to be disposed of thus? Can you impute such crime without a blush? When have I shown him partiality? Were I to choose 'tween Taxiles and you, how can you think that I could hesitate? Know I not well how his unstable soul is swayed alternately by love and fear? And were it not for me, his timid heart would soon be vanquished by his sister's wiles. Made Alexander's captive, as you know, she afterwards returned to Taxiles. But soon I found she meant to fasten him in the same trap which had ensnared her heart.
And can you live beside her after that? Why not abandon her to guilt and crime? Why be so anxious now to spare a prince?
For your sake I would win him. Shall I see you overwhelmed with care for our defence, and left alone to attack so strong a foe? I would have Taxiles combine his arms with yours, in spite of all his sister's plots. Would that your zeal could spare some thought for me! But such considerations are too mean to move you. So that you may nobly fall, you little care what follows, nor provide refuge for me from Alexander's wrath, or from your rival's love, who, treating me soon as his humble captive, will demand my heart and hand as purchased by your blood. Well, go, my lord, fulfill your eager wish, think only of the conflict, and forget to guard your life, forget how heaven had smoothed the way that might have led to happiness. It may be Axiana in her turn was well disposed to go. But nay, depart to lead your army. We have talked too long, and you are weary of detainment here.
Stay, madam. See how earnest is my flame. Order my life, and make my soul your own. Glory, I own it, has much influence there, but what can charm so matchless not perform? I will forget what plans we formed to join our forces to risk all against the foe, that Porus deemed it happiness supreme alone to triumph in his rival's eyes. I say no more. Proclaim your sovereign will, and fame and hatred both shall bow to you.
Fear naught. The heart which will so well obey is not in the hands that can betray their trust. Its glory is too much my care to wish to stop a hero bent on victory. Hasten your steps to meet the enemy, but do not part yourself from your allies. Control them gently, and with tranquil mind leave me to try my skill on Taxiles. Let milder sentiments towards him prevail. I undertake to make him fight for you.
Well, go then, madam. I consent with joy. And let us see Hephaestion, since we must, but without losing hope of following close. I wait Hephaestion, then the battlefield.
End of Act 1.